parts, quality vehicles, Mullen Motors.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority talking about Cleanse & Lean. Cleanse & Lean helps eliminate that dreaded bloat and water retention that many of us deal with on a day-to-day basis. Cleanse & Lean is a great way to jumpstart any weight loss program. Cleanse & Lean is only available at Nutrition Authority. Stop in or for store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Guys, when I first started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Farrell's 10-Week Challenge. 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and guided nutrition coaching to help you reach your fitness goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins on April 8th. If you're wanting to change your life like I have, head to theticketfm.com and click on Enroll Now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Both in studio today. That's right.
Yes. Back with my guy.
Yes, sir. Welcome
Batman
back.
and Robin.
How was the flight?
Oh, I was dead tired. And I normally don't sleep on the plane, but I was totally out. I was out. And I coming back, I went to a friend's birthday party, so it was one of those type of days. Plus watching the game and
there's no reason it had to start at 8:30 at night.
Man,
that's too late.
Yes.
Why would we do that?
I don't know. I think they try, because of so I'll tell you why I perceive it to be that way. It's because the West Coast getting off of work at that 4 or 5 time frame allows them to get home or get to whatever the happy hour spot or whatever they're going to go to be able to watch the game. So you get a lot of these late starts depending on that. Sure. Now, if it was out west somewhere, that would make it even worse because they probably start at like 6, which means you're going to be up to 12-1 if you're in the East Coast. So it just depends. Like if it's out east, they'll start at 8 o'clock normal. You know what I mean? I don't think they'll start at 9, but that's really probably the justification of that.
What's the sweet spot for starting those games as a player? When do you want to start a game that big?
I personally would like to be 7. 7's like the right number that allows you. I think once it gets later, it throws off your routine a little bit because you're kind of used to being in that 6 to 8 time frame, unless you're playing on the weekend where your body needs to get ready for 1, 2, or 3 sometimes. But and a lot of it's done because of the TV rights that they have and the slots that are picked. But when you're playing like a 9 o'clock game, it's rough because you're sitting around all day. Your mind is just hearing everything that's been going on.
Like, what do you do? How do you pass that much time?
That's the issue. You're just wondering about all the stuff, and it's just like time seems to drag on, like it's not moving. And then it's like, boom, now you got to show up and lather up and get ready. And I like the 7. That's just me personally.
402-464-5685. What time would you, Starter Heyman text line, start your national championship games, whether that's basketball, football, baseball, heck, even volleyball? Drop your thoughts. What time's the best time to start those? And other thoughts throughout the show. Make sure you get those in there on the text line. Big thanks to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for sponsoring On the Block like they do every day. Big shout out to Charles and the great group of people he has down there cooking up great food for you at 27th and Pine Lake in Lincoln. Lots to get to today. A lot of basketball. That's our focus. UConn wins the national championship. We'll get into that in just a second. We'll finish this hour talking some Nebraska football special teams. How important is that? Who are some of the key players? coordinator Ed Foley's approach to it. And then at 3, Strick, something that we've been wanting to get into, and I think with UConn winning last night, it's the perfect time for it. The state of blue bloods in college basketball. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the season. It's time to revisit that conversation, and not just what they have been, but what are they going to be? What are blue bloods going to be? So we'll get into that at 3 and talk with Steve Sipple at 3:30. But let's get into it. UConn wins the national championship. Maybe we should have seen it coming. As dominant as they were throughout the tournament, their margin of victory is top 5 all time in terms of the tournament. Didn't lose a game outside of Big East play. What a season for UConn. What a run that Dan Hurley and that crew made. And it got dicey at a couple points, but throughout the tournament, UConn seemed very in control.
Yeah, and what came through is the things that we talked about on yesterday prior to the game was making sure that they didn't allow San Diego State to have advantages in areas where they can get easy points. We talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I said it, that the Huskies are a scoring juggernaut. They're going to score in the 70s. That's just how good they shoot. They shoot great free throws.
They work for good shots.
They work for good. So you know that they're going to have a high clip in their scoring. Whereas the other hand, San Diego State doesn't. They're streaky, but they rely on their defense. They do a good job of that. But in this specific game, UConn shoots 43%, but here's the capper. They shoot 27 free throws. Of the 27, they hit 24. That's huge. 88%.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to get into a game, or runs are happening, and then runs are stalled because they're going to the free throw line shooting at a high clip. Now, 75 is not bad, but your 3-point shooting for San Diego State was terrible, and that's what you needed to fall in order to be in this game.
Lamont Butler goes 3 of 7 from long range to lead San Diego State. He made half of them, but Micah Parrish goes 0 for 4.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Bradley goes 0 for 4. Trammell hits only 1 of his 3 attempts, and those are guys that you needed to step up and knock them down. Seiko off the bench hit 1, but it was late. It was part of the run that San Diego State made, helped spark that, but it was too little too late. San Diego State and UConn both make 4 of their first 5 shots, and then it dried up for San Diego State very quickly and very early.
And being a deep team, right? You can't just get 10 points out of your bench scoring.
No.
You and then you get nothing from Mensah, right? Mensah, you're hoping in that matchup that he's able to handle himself in that matchup. But another thing we talked about, they're not a high assist team, so it became a lot of one-on-ones. Your scoring clips are going to go down significantly. So you have them shooting. They only got 7 assists in the game. They had 7 assists. On the other hand, you got doubled that number, which they were averaging almost 18, I think 19 as a team. And so UConn just pretty much did what they do, and they dominated. I think UConn probably was the most dominant team throughout this whole, because they were consistent in doing what they do, limiting you to what you're trying to do, and just beating you down, beating you up. And Sonogo's just that guy. I mean, he's that guy. He's the anchor for that team. And then you had Carabao, who ends up with 3 blocks.
White boys can jump.
He ends up with 3 blocks, and you think that was going to be Sonogo. He actually is the one that ends up with all the blocks. It basically were kind of diverted from Sonogo and then get caught by Caravan. Yeah, by Caravan.
Mm-hmm. So Adama Sonogo, the most outstanding player of the Final Four, makes sense given what he did to Miami to help UConn win that game, and then took over, especially in the first half. 17 points, 10 rebounds for him, a block and an assist as well. And they needed him to be big. Klingon got in foul trouble. I thought San Diego State had the right idea in going at Klingon early when he came in off the bench, because that's what you've seen teams do. When you have a dominant big man like that, you go at Kalkbrenner, you go at Edey, you go at Jackson Davis. No different with a guy like Donovan Klingon. Even though he's a freshman coming in off the bench, you got to attack him. You can't be scared of him. There was, I think, at some points, a really good balance of attacking and aggression. At other points, though, It was that one-on-one game. Put their head down and drive, get into trouble. 12 turnovers for San Diego State was too many.
Yeah.
That's too many opportunities given away for a team that doesn't play fast. On the flip side, turnovers are how San Diego State made a run. UConn gets up by, I want to say, is 14, 15, 16 points in that range.
Yeah.
Blink of an eye, San Diego State's only down 5.
Yeah.
It was careless turnovers from UConn, lazy passes, weak passes, San Diego State jumping the passing lanes.
Yeah.
It's 60-55. You're like, okay, there's 5 minutes left. They've got a chance. Dead in the water. Looked horrible. But I took note of this, Strick. It was 60-55 with 3:41 to go. 2-possession game with 4 minutes to go. Plenty of time.
Plenty.
4 possessions after it was 60-55. It was 69-55. UConn used that under 4 media timeout, regained, didn't turn the ball over again.
Yeah. And that was a key piece for them, not allowing the Aztecs to get back into the game or to win the game. If they did that, they got a hold of that, they were gonna be good. And I think they handled it well. Shout out to the Huskies and the way that they played. I don't think it was a great game. So, to me, it seemed like the women's game was probably more intense and a little bit more fiery. But I like the fact that the 4 and 5s were there. I just like that. I like the fact that the underdogs made it. The Aztecs didn't get a chance to get into what I would hope for them. It was, being the super underdog. I really was rooting for FAU, and like I said, I think he's going to keep them together. And if he can continue to keep them together, they're going to be scary. They could have a Butler type of run.
Could.
They very much because they're one shot away from being right there in the mix of it. I would have loved to see that matchup.
I saw a couple way too early top 25s come out. One of them had Florida Atlantic at number 5.
Wow. I mean, they're a young bunch. I mean, they're seasoned now. I mean, they should dominate their conference. Yeah, man, it's a scary thought to have that whole team dang near coming back. I mean, like, you maybe go in the transfer portal and just get one that could just be a nice contributor to that bench or whatever. Shh, watch out.
We said something very similar about North Carolina last year.
Yeah.
That's what gives me a little bit of pause because it's hard for teams to follow up. I mean, Butler did it in 2010-11. They make the championship game, lose to Duke, come back the next year, lose, ironically enough, to UConn. To me, Butler is the exception, where I think they were able to keep their under Bulldog mindset. It really play on still being the little guy. FAU's going to try, but that's hard to do at a school that doesn't have that historical success with still a young coach. I hope they can. They're one of the best stories of the postseason and an underappreciated story of the regular season, but expecting them or predicting them to be a top 5 team next season, it's a tall task.
Yeah, it's a tall task. I'm going to say another thing is it can go one of two ways. And I saw it when I was in high school. My junior year, we went to the state finals. We beat, the number 1 seed. We came in low and we ran through it and got in there and just ran up against a Miller South team that was just bigger than us and just had a little bit more. And the next year, we bring dang near everybody back. I think we only lost 1 senior, right? Maybe 1 or 2. But I think it was 1. One major contributor. His name was Danny Cole. And losing that, we expected, we got a good squad. We're going to come back. What happens sometimes is teammates start smelling themselves. And then in their minds, roles begin to shift and change. And guys start to try to emerge to become
the dude on the team,
right? That's kind of what happens. And then your team ends up faltering because you're not doing what you just said about Butler, where they maintain the same mental state going into the next year. And that's why they were able to return. If FAU doesn't do that, if they don't come in with, we know who we are, I know who I am, and I don't try to change or buck the system, then we can make another run.
Because you can add to your game without becoming a new player.
Yeah.
Roles don't have to change that dramatically with as many guys coming back as they do. What's the coach's role in that, and what's the player's role in keeping the same mindset?
I mean, the coach's role is very important, and I'll speaking to that of the coach's role, it was very similar to what Jim O'Brien had to do when I was with the Boston Celtics. Jim O'Brien, the year before, they were terrible. I mean, they have a great group of not kids, we're men, great group of men, and they had Ron Mercer and Kenny Anderson and great guys, obviously Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce. So he had to go and sit them down. He didn't have to sit us down. We all knew Paul and Antoine was the guys. Nobody's going to change that. Kenny Anderson was older. So he didn't, buck the system. He's like, I'm going to lead this team. I'm the point guard. I knew I was a sixth man, so I was going to come off the bench and, change the pace and do some service there, get after people defensively. But he had to sit them down. He had to sit Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker down collectively, probably individually and collectively, and let them know who they are, what their roles are, and just, you've got to share. You know what I mean? You can't,
and not his turn, your turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got to be willing. And what ends up happening is, there are nights when I even would lead and score. There are nights when I'd have 25 or 26, and I may be the leader. But it was because they schemed and scouted for them to try to stop, so they would find, and you have to be ready to step up and be able to knock that stuff down. I would say one of the greatest tragedies, not tragedies, but I think it was something, if they could go back and do again, they probably would change. They had Joe Johnson. A young Joe Johnson.
ISO Joe.
And Joe Johnson he struggled because he just was still trying to find his way. But my gosh, if they could have held on to him and it been those three, man, I would have loved to see that team. Because
those are three wings, not a guard, not a big guy, which would have been huge. But the way the NBA was moving with three wings, that could have been fun. That'll put a bow on segment one. Got to talk some Husker football when we get back. We heard from running backs coach EJ Barthel, also from special teams coordinator Ed Foley and the specialists. We'll talk about that before we get into the shootout after this.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
There's a new way to vacay when you fly LNK. Check out brand new service at the Lincoln Airport to some of America's favorite travel destinations. Catch convenient nonstop flights to Vegas, Atlanta, Minneapolis, Orlando, Austin, Dallas, or Nashville when you fly via Redway. With so many affordable options to choose from, planning your vacation has never been easier. Visit GoFlyRed.com and book today. Flights are public charters offered by Global X Air Tours LLC and operated by Global Crossing Airlines Incorporated.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. At Foundation Repair, we fix basements.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstorats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority talking about Cleanse & Lean. Cleanse & Lean helps eliminate that dreaded bloat and water retention that many of us deal with on a day-to-day basis. Cleanse & Lean is a great way to jumpstart any weight loss program. Cleanse & Lean is only available at Nutrition Authority. Stop in or for store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
A lot of businesses say that they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business feels anything but for your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, as they do with customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC fabrication and sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Creighton would have. That's the best part. They would have beat FAU. They would have been in the national title, but they're not. That's too bad. You guys can wallow for them, and I'll just celebrate over here and say it's a great day to be in Nebraska.
I'm just amazed by that take. I'm amazed by that.
You can be amazed all you want. It ain't changing. I like nothing you say is going to change my stance on this game.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hour one, segment 2 here on the block on a Tuesday with you. Welcome to it. Whether you're catching us on the radio at 93.7 The Ticket FM, theticketfm.com, or Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter live streams. However you're catching the show, we appreciate that. All right, Strick, some Husker football talk. Let's start with the running back room. New coach E.J. Barthel, ironically, a former UConn Husky himself, where he used to be, now at Nebraska. So Coach Barthel said he was up watching the game last night, had practice today in media availability. He was jazzed about the Huskies winning, obviously. Also pretty enthused about his running back room. Two guys in particular, at least that stood out to me from what he said. Number one is Gabe Ervin, coming off an injury. Didn't do a whole lot last season. Seems like he got lost in the shuffle, but has really, to me, been the headline of spring. It seems every coach that comes to the podium brings up Gabe Ervin in some form or fashion.
Yeah, as talented as Anthony Grant is, there's some areas that limit him. It seems that could be possibly in the studying of the playbook and really just knowing the full details. As he said in his press conference, we really want to get to detail-oriented type of players where they're focused in specific areas, knowing where their eyes are supposed to be, knowing what the protections are, knowing what the fronts are, knowing just having these specific details, so that way it minimized the thinking process. They're trying to do everything from a foundational standpoint so that they can minimize just overthinking where it's reaction. You've drilled it, you know it, you know what this front is, you know what the front you're seeing, you know where the danger is. It's like you already are on that stuff. So they're really getting back to the roots of those details. Gabe Ervin is a very intellectual type of player. He's going to be one that's going to be that type of guy. He's hungry. He's itching to get back what he lost, not by losing, but by injury. And it's always tough to try to return and get spot back after somebody has emerged and has been doing well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Now I'm hoping AJ Allen comes back. He was really looking good. He had young promise ahead of him, so I'm hoping that he will be able to. Now, there's so many ways that they can use Ramir. He's so versatile, but
we'll get into Ramir in a sec. The thing that I'm curious to actually see Gabe Ervin do is run the football and see how explosive he looks.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to learn a new system. It's one thing to earn your spot back after an injury, but it's harder to earn a spot back when you lose some of that athletic pop.
Yeah.
But again, what we've heard all winter and now early spring is Gabe Ervin's back healthy.
He's got that.
He's got the pop. He's got the explosion. And that's a good sign because they said he's fast, needs straight line speed. He's built really well, so he can be strong too. So I think he has a chance to be a really well-rounded back.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Ramir Johnson. We heard this from the coaching staff last year. We're going to get Ramir the ball in a lot of ways. He can do a lot of different things for us. We can be creative with him. And then he doesn't see the
get
field
out there. And when he did, I thought he had good success. I mean, I thought when he had opportunity, the reason I like the competition is the competition. It affects each individual to do better with less, right? You just don't know. You don't know if you're going to get 5 carries. You don't know if you're going to get 8, 10, 20, whatever that the load is going to be for you. You just don't know. And so when given the opportunity, you want the film to show that once you're supposed to hit the A gap, you're in that A gap looking downhill, and your eyes are, everything that the coach is trying to train you on, you're at that spot. That's what I'm hoping that this team is getting back. And Ramir was that guy. When Ramir hit a hole, he was in it, and he was getting into the second level. I thought AJ Allen was one like that too. The frustration with Anthony Grant, he seemed to get frustrated, and the frustration because he has so much success. He has a great jump cut. Like his jump cut is sick, and he's got great vision. And he would see stuff and he would try to bounce. And so he got into that mode. Once you get with defenses that have great side to side speed, they're gonna just pretty much run you to them sidelines. So they get
stretch you out,
stretch you
flat,
right? So that's why he, in his frustration, didn't do as well, because like the others, they were hitting it. Because them holes open and close. The linemen weren't very good. Them holes were just, they were gone. If you wasn't hitting it, it was over with. So they got to get back to that. And I'm hoping the line is able to get a little bit more push to just give them a little bit more time to be able to find it and be able to get down.
I want to see Anthony Grant year 2 because he wasn't nearly as successful in Big Ten play. And I don't know if that was he was physically outmatched, like he was clowning on some, FCS and low major schools, or if it was the offensive line and how much of it was his mindset as well. Because again, Anthony Grant's not small, not tall, but he's built.
Yeah,
we've seen him
bowling ball.
Yeah, we've seen him with the ability to lower his shoulder and go through guys. Maybe not, knock them off their feet outside of the one play in the Rutgers game where he laid the dude out, which was fun. Put that on the highlight reels forever. But Anthony Grant showed through the first 4 games he can be a Big Ten caliber running back with that jump cut, with the speed, the acceleration. And then he faced Big Ten defenses. Tried the jump cut, it didn't work. Tried it the other way, still didn't work. We knew Big Ten defenses were going to be better. To me, since that was his first real extended time against, defenses of that caliber, the way Illinois played, Minnesota was really good. We know what Wisconsin and Iowa are on defense. I'm willing to give him a pass if he learns from it. If he learns that he doesn't need to hit the home run every time, take the single. Take your 4 yards instead of your 1 yard. Because staying on schedule will open up those opportunities for you. You just have to trust it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's nothing else to add to that, Austin. You laid out, that very clear and concise. And so I don't really have much to say on that.
So those are the running backs we heard from Coach Barthel today. We also heard from Ed Foley. He's the special teams coordinator. Special teams improved last year for Nebraska from how bad they were the first couple of years under Scott Frost in that regime. They got better last year, and just being middle of the pack was a huge step in the right direction. Even slightly below average, was a huge step in the right direction. If Nebraska can get back to even good special teams, doesn't have to be great, doesn't have to be elite special teams, but just getting back to good special teams, finding ways to avoid, those hidden yards, those returns that you give up.
Yeah.
That could go a long way in making both the offense and the defense's lives that much easier.
Yeah, the special teams, it was so frustrating sometimes to see the special teams just, fair catch and get nothing out of it. Where there was just so many other teams that really took advantage and used special. Actually, there were some teams that used special teams to win games when it mattered, right? Like, if it wasn't for their special teams getting, a punt that was going to leave you at the 20, maybe the 15, now you're on the 40 going in, late clock. That's a tremendous thing to have. And so it's a weapon, man. I think you got to use it. I think Iowa has it both on the punt side where they put you underneath the 5 and they're like, use their defense and their defense will score for them. That's how important it is for them. It's got to be more important, I think, for Nebraska to be able to shift the field. It keeps your, it's different running an offense from from inside the 20 in the red zone going out than it is starting at the 35 and the 40. Defenses have to do different things because of so much space and room, to work from. Playbook opens up tremendously when you're talking about getting into the midfield area. So, yeah.
Let's talk about the returners. Last year, before the season, I think there's a lot of excitement around Trey Palmer as a returner because that's what he was at LSU. Showed he had the ability to do it. And then Trey Palmer proves, he can play the wide receiver position very well and wasn't back there returning kicks or punts nearly as frequently. The other guys Nebraska had back there, Ramir Johnson was back a couple times. I think A.J. Allen was back a time or two. Tommy Hill was given chances, didn't do it. And Oliver Martin was the guy that fair caught a lot of punts. I would love to sit down with the special teams coordinators and just see how much of that was coached, how much of that was player decision, how much of that was scheme, how much of that was the defense did something a little bit different or guys on the edge weren't able to stay in front of their guy long enough to make a block. Because like you said, even if you just fall forward for 3 or 5 yards, that's the difference between getting the ball at the 5 or the 10, the 10 or the 15. And even just that little bit of extra breathing room helps.
Yeah, it does. It makes a difference because, as bad as they were able to, I'm saying not bad, they weren't able to run the ball good in Big Ten play. So they relied heavily on the pass. If you're not able to run, then you're putting yourself in a field position disadvantage if you can't move the chains, or you need to at least get a couple of first downs. Like you don't have to go all the way, but you have to try to do everything you can, like you said, to stay on schedule, get a couple of first downs. Now when you're punting, you're just playing this like tug of war game of field position. And so it's important, man. I just don't think we did a good job of that last year. And I think it has to get better. If they're gonna see any more wins, it's got to get better.
Punting from the 10 and punting from the 30 are two very different concepts.
Yeah.
They talk about flipping field.
Yeah.
Nebraska hasn't had a rocket leg punter in a long time. We've seen it uncorked, a couple pretty good ones, but not consistently.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do that, the offense has to move the ball. Something Ed Foley said that really fascinated me, Strick, was that the wind in Nebraska could be a real advantage for them if Nebraska learns how to use the wind and attack it. Ed Foley says they're learning the aiming points of the stadium with how the wind swirls.
Love it.
To me, that's an attention to detail on special teams we haven't seen in a while.
I agree.
And I think that's huge because I think when you just look at a football stadium, it's okay. Yeah. You know which direction the wind's going based on the flags at the top of the goalposts. And that's about it. But to actually go in depth, use a little meteorology, use some architecture to figure out how to punt better. It's a little thing, but heck, it might go a long way.
I would take the Iowa approach.
Mm-hmm.
When you're punting, your goal is to make sure our defense has the advantage of coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So your aim, your directional punts, your putting the face down and dropping it like it's hot, like a golfer would hit a nice little spin on a Volkey wedge or something like that and spin that thing back. Yeah, you want all of that. And you've got to be really focused and honed in and practicing all of those things because of the importance for you. I mean, I really do believe that it's the difference between you going 6-6 and, what?
4-8,
4-8,
3-9,
8 or even 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think it really is. And I don't think that they take that into account as much as we should, how important it is.
It was just funny for me to hear too, because when I think of, learning a stadium, using a stadium to a team's advantage, I think baseball. Learn how the corners play. How much room do you have in foul territory? What's the batter's eye like? Even basketball to some extent.
Or
What's
even
the depth
stance.
perception?
The stance does, help on that. You go ahead.
Right. But even basketball too, what's the depth perception like? How does the rim, the backboard play with the backdrop? I don't think about
Lighting.
Light, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think about that with football.
Really?
I don't, because it's, it's a 100-yard field, goal line to goal line. It's 53, 54, 55 yards across, and it's just a football stadium.
You do. You're right. The way the stadium is built, like some have
direction,
straight
shadow.
Up, some have the open, so the flow of the wind kind of comes through. Like you'll probably see that at Colorado some. Right. Missouri used to have it like that. I think they may have changed their stadium. I could be wrong. But yeah, those things are important, but also the type of field that they're playing on.
Surface.
The surface. Your bounces are going to be different on grass. If the turf is soft, did it rain that night? There's all types of things to consider. It's not just go out there and just look at the field and look at the directions and, oh, the wind's blowing this way. Grab a blade of grass and just toss it up and be like, oh yeah, okay. It's not that. It's some stuff. And so I like that. I like what they're doing. I like that he's actually taking all of these things into account and figuring out how to use it as an advantage.
Little things that add up that other people wouldn't think about. Before we play the shootout with Strick, let's get into the two guys that still, according to Ed Foley, appear to be the front runners for the specialist jobs. At punter, Brian Buschini. Ed Foley raved about him, the job he did, said his directional punting was good. Said Foley told him to aim for the 8-yard line, hit it 4 out of 8 times. Pretty good ratio. And last year, Buschini punts 68 times for a 44-yard average.
Not bad.
Solid. Fine.
Yeah,
workmanlike. You take that again.
Yeah.
I would say. And then at kicker, Timmy Bleekrode still appears to have the no pun intended leg up. Again, sorry, couldn't resist, couldn't help myself. Again, just another solid workman-like year. 34-35 on extra points, 9-12 on field goals.
Yeah.
If you can, obviously, depending on how long the field goals are, if you can stretch your range out to 50, I think that's helpful. Be consistent from 45.
If you're consistent from there, and then you can bang one if you need to every now and then. Yeah, I love it.
Take a desperation shot at the end of half, just so you don't know what else you can do.
You just don't want Coach Rule sitting on the sideline like, gosh, dang it, I just don't know. And then you end up doing something funky, and it ends up hokey. No pun intended.
Right.
So I'm hoping that he's able to really look at his kicker and say, yeah, go get it. That's what you can know, because if they show the camera on guys, you can tell. Like I've seen it when they'll show the camera trying to see what the decision that the coach is going to make, and you can see the look on their face, and they're like, gosh dang it, just go run the play. We're going to time out.
Yep.
Because they just do not believe that their kicker can get it done. Now, I've seen the ones that they're like, yeah, go get it, going for 3. They're real confident about it. And those guys bang those things in too.
The other part of kicking that they said they haven't worked too much on is the kickoff. Buschini, Bleak Road, and Spencer Pankratz are all working some on kickoffs. That's another small area. Can you just kick the ball through the end zone consistently? Start the opponent at the 25-yard line and not have to worry about it. Again, a little thing that I think the more consistent you can be with that would go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we heard from EJ Barthel, Ed Foley, Timmy Bleakroad, and Brian Buschini. We got the shootout to play. That's right. Nebraska baseball taking on Kansas State tonight. So we've got Nebraska and Kansas State trivia. The history, some series history between those two squads. 402-464-5685. If you know your old Big 8, Big 12 rival Kansas State, call in and play for $15 at Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll do it next.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority talking about Cleansing Lean. Cleansing Lean helps eliminate that dreaded bloat and water retention that many of us deal with on a day-to-day basis. Cleansing Lean is a great way to jumpstart any weight loss program. Cleansing Lean is only available at Nutrition Authority. Stop in or for store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Mike Shaver here to tell you that Trek CBD has a new name, and it's Hemp Boss. It's the same products you've grown to love, just a new name. Spring sports are on the horizon, and Hemp Boss has a variety of products that help calm me down during games and on the golf course so I don't go over the top. And they have a variety of options for you to calm you down before, during, and after any event. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Hemp Boss has it all at 84th and Andermatt. Hemp Boss, naturally healthy CBD.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
There's a new way to vacay when you fly LNK. Check out brand new service at the Lincoln Airport to some of America's favorite travel destinations. Catch convenient nonstop flights to Vegas, Atlanta, Minneapolis, Orlando, Austin, Dallas, or Nashville when you fly via Redway. With so many affordable options to choose from, planning your vacation has never been easier. Visit goflyred.com and book today. Flights are public charters offered by Global X Air Tours LLC and operated by Global Crossing Airlines Incorporated.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC fabrication and sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329. Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
That's right, 402-464-5685. The number for you to call to get in to play the Shootout with Strick. $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line for you today, as it is every weekday at this time. Strick, while we wait for a caller, an update in the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese saga. Caitlin Clark has responded saying, let me get back in front of me here, I don't think Angel should be criticized at all. You should be able to play with that emotion. That's what makes it fun. Your thoughts?
That's why I love keep it with the players. I mean, if you can't talk about, you know, stuff on the court that's going on in a competitive way, you like it's like what they did with football, right? Where they took away the celebration. They you know, I understand, okay, don't take their hat off because the game is, they're saying bigger than the person, all that stuff. Okay, you have that one. But the stuff that they're doing as far as celebration, like it's in basketball. It's even in the NBA, and it upsets me, right? When I watch a guy dunks the ball and I just put my sack in your face, you know what I'm saying? And gave it to you, boom. Like I want to tell you about it. Like I want to let you know what I just did to you. And if you look at them, if you smirk at them, if you do anything of the sort, they're giving you a T. I think that's crazy. Like I didn't go up to him and chest him up or buck him or hit him with an elbow or do a meta world peace to James Harden to the side of the head. I didn't do any of that. But my gosh, I mean, it's like they really are taking stuff out, the emotion, the hype, all of that stuff out of the game, and I hate it. And look, shout out to them. But what was disappointing is, you know, let's equate everything as it is. You know what I'm saying? Like all Angel was doing, and this is why Caitlin understands. She just did what I did to other people. It was get back. I did it to Louisville. You know what I'm saying? And people took notice, and so she gave it back to me. Okay, so then maybe next year I hope I see you again, because I might be giving you that same thing. That's the way I think.
I feel like that's how true competitors would think, you know, not in their feels about it, not uptight about it, because Strick, that's part of the fun of competing, is that when it doesn't get personal and you just did something better than someone else did, you let them know.
Yeah.
Because then you hope it brings out the best in that other person. And that turns bring out the best in you, which brings out the best in them, which brings out the best in you.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. But also there's head games. This is why Michael Jordan was the master, because he would play head games. I didn't tell you this story, but I think I told probably Bach. So this is my Michael Jordan. This is how Michael Jordan is. This is how he plays. This is why you hear Shaq say, I was scared of him. You know, this is where this comes from. I'm at an event. Deion Sanders has a club called Primetime 21. We all used to go. Football, you know, this is the heydays of the Cowboys. So all the Cowboys would be there. Michael Irvin, all them was all in there, and we would be in there too. We were playing the Bulls the next night. So, of course, the Bulls come to the same spot. We're all in there. My aunt, who husband was coaching at SMU at the time, we lived close to each other. They said, "Oh, are you going tonight? The Bulls are in town. Are they going to be there?" I'm like, I don't know. Well, we're going with you. Okay, cool. So they come. Now we get there. MJ's outside. Everybody's kind of just chopping it up. And my aunt goes, "Hey, can I see Eric, if you can get MJ to get a picture with me? Now we're playing these cats the next night. So I go over to him. Of course, I don't want to disappoint my aunt. So I go over to him. I say, yo, MJ, listen, my aunt's here, man. You know, Eric Strickland, I'm with the Mavericks. She wants to take a picture with you. Oh, okay, cool. So he uses that to be able to get into my head. So he comes over the next to her and says, oh, yeah, so you want to take a picture? Yeah. Okay, well, just first make sure he goes home. He gets a lot of rest because it's going to be a long day for him tomorrow.
Of course he did.
That's how he does it. You know what I mean? And so it's these little things. That's part of the game that gets under your head. You want to get into somebody's head to get them so frustrated that it takes them out of their game. So it's little comments. Yeah, I'm killing you tonight. It's little
and that's
things.
Not disrespectful.
It's not disrespectful. It's just these little seeds that you plant just to get somebody to get in their head a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than what they were doing to Russell Westbrook when they stayed all the way in the lane, daring him to shoot. That's a head game. You know what I mean? It's not disrespectful. It is, but it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
402-464-5685. Still looking for a contestant for Shootout with Strick. $15 Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line for you. And that's where the best trash talkers back it up.
Yes.
They find a way to be at their best. And, it's magnified
they use it
when
for
you're not
fodder.
yours. They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And that's where Caitlin Clark has written a lot of checks, but cashed a lot of them.
Yeah.
Angel Reese wrote a lot of checks, cashed in the biggest chip she had in winning the national championship game. So it's one thing if you're going to talk and then have it thrown back in your face, you get up and you're feeling because you couldn't cash it. These are two of the best players in their sport, playing at their peak on the biggest stage. There's nothing personal about it. There's nothing disrespectful about it. This is two competitors going head to head in the biggest game of their life. Let them have their moment.
Yes, it's the gladiator sport, right? It's the thing where everybody's saying you're the best. I'm here to let you know I'm the best. I mean, that's all it is. It's level. It's no different than what you see in these high school ratings. Like whenever somebody shows up to play DJ Wagner, they're going at his neck. Like they're like, because they're trying to run up. If they're to 21st best player that people think, they're trying to beat the brakes off DJ Wagner so they can move up, right? That's the way you look at it. Who? You don't know me yet. You better find out. You know what I'm saying? F around and find out.
There's a graph.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the mentality of it, and people are starting to take that away, and I just don't like it.
And this is where I do have to begrudgingly credit Caitlin Clark. Don't like her because she's beat Nebraska. Don't like her because she's good in some ways because she plays for Iowa. Respect the talent, but really respect the way she's handled this. Everyone else has blown this way out of proportion. Made it a lot more than it needs to be. And Caitlin Clark's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It happens. Move on. Next season, please.
Yeah. Unnamed texter says on the Sauter Heyman text line, if you don't want to see your opponent celebrating, then stop them with your play. Well said. Yes, I love it. Jesse on the text line says my reaction to what was maybe Angel Reese could have come up with something on her own rather than copying somebody else. Okay.
I mean, maybe, but part of the fun is throwing someone else's
the same
celebration
thing,
back in their face.
back at them. So I get that. And then Axel Foley, I love that name because I'm a big Beverly Hills Cop fan. You have absolutely told the story like 3 times at least. Oh,
I hadn't heard it though.
But see, that's what I was saying. I said I hadn't told him the story, but I have shared the story. I know I shared it on the block. I know you guys have heard it, but he hadn't heard it. So, but I was really making that as a reference to how talking trash is designed to get into people's head. It's designed to get you to just think about me and not your shooting stroke, or think about me and not the victory or winning the game, or just to get you off just for a second. And we used to do that to Kobe. Like that was one thing we used to do to Kobe. We used to basically we used to dare Kobe late in the game because we knew that we couldn't stop Shaq. But we knew that Kobe was capable of taking difficult shots. So we would bait him and
Come on,
talk
Kobe,
to
you
him.
won't.
Kobe, Shaq is going nuts tonight. Man, when you gonna do something? You would say something like that because you wanted him to shoot, because that was the best chance we had to win. Yeah.
Makes sense. All right. We do have to hit a break, unfortunately. So caller 3-402-464-5685 gets the $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Perfect that you brought up DJ Wagner. We're talking Blue Bloods in college basketball next. Is UConn won? Does this 5th championship move them into that conversation where they already won? And the Blue Bloods that we can't agree on, what are they like? What's the state of the Blue Blood echelon in college basketball? Are they going anywhere? Is anyone catching them? We'll get into that. Also talk some more Huskers with Steve Sipple.
I see you, Sebastian. We may be able to tap into that. I'll talk to my guy about it. Maybe we'll have that sometime in the near future.
Hold tight. Hour 2 on the block next.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $20 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $10 off any athletic shoes $105 and under, and get $15 off any shoe over $105. Choose from respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, On, and 361 Running. And don't forget the trendy Hey Dudes. A new shipment just arrived for the season. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln. Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
This is Jay Foreman. I work here to protect my health on the football field, and I'm protecting it now by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Get up to date while it's still free and stay protected. Learn more at healthylincoln.org.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to MWRbuildingandfence.com.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC fabrication and sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC is great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Decreasing cloud cover and a warm day on the way. We'll top out near 73. Winds out of the south-southeast at around 15 to 20. Very slight chance of showers this evening into tonight. A low of around 29. Windy and cooler tomorrow. Northwest winds gusting over 30 and a high of only around 50. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hour 2 on the Block, presented to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Check out Charles and his crew down at 27th and Pine Lake in Lincoln. Let Charles and his crew fix you a plate of soul food down there in 27th and Pine Lake. Fantastic stuff. Back open tomorrow, I believe, right?
Yes, on Wednesday they will be open. I think I may have to go in this week. It's a must. I've been gone too long. I need to go in there.
Get back to it.
Yeah, I need to go in there and say what's up to the fellas and ladies and all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hour 2 here on the Block. We're talking college basketball. The first segment, we'll talk Husker football with Steve Sipple of Early Break with Sip and Jake in about 15, 20 minutes or so. Before we get to Blue Bloods, Strick, something we've been wanting to talk about for a minute. Some Nebraska basketball potential transfer news. April 17th through the 19th, so 2 weeks from now, Nebraska will be hosting a transfer center. John Hugley IV from Pitt put up really big numbers for a much improved Pitt team this year. Just 8 games this season. He started 6 of them before a knee injury. In those 8 appearances, 8 points and 4 rebounds a game. But the previous year, 15 points, 8 rebounds per game. Solid offensive rebounder, number 89 overall player in the 2020 class. Heard from a lot of teams. He's a really good player, but he's going to be on campus in Lincoln in a couple weeks. I think he has a visit lined up to West Virginia as well. I don't know if I love the idea of him because, as we've talked about, you need more dynamic guard play, maybe more defense rebounding big man, but it's never a bad thing to have a big guy that can go get you a bucket.
Yeah. What I would like to dig into is what changed. You know, it's pretty rare for somebody to be a significant contributor unless you just get into the doghouse with the coach, and you know that would lead to a situation where your lack of playing time. It could be some off. So those are the things, if you're looking at it, you really want to dig into, because you don't want to interject into a good chemistry, a good group of guys that are on the same page. You don't want to enter in something that could be cancerous to the team's success. So I would want to know the why behind significant contributor. Is it school related? Is it, attitude? Is it lack of, attention to details and scouting report? I don't know, but it's kind of weird to me that somebody that was a significant contributor would drop off like that. Is
that something that Fred Hoiberg is calling Jeff Capel about, or how do you get that information?
Yeah, you definitely want to have a conversation with the coach, and get a feel for what they think, how they what's your real take on the young man? Give me the full Monty.
Is that Fred's job or is that an assistant's job? Whoever you have a connection with, maybe?
Well, probably whoever's, I think recruiting for the most part, there are probably certain recruits that Fred is very engaged in. Recruiting usually is a touch point. It's a coach sees something, like something, fits what the the team needs, or it's in line with what the team is trying to do, that person's skill set. And so it's a touch point. You like him, okay, let me get a little bit of background on him, let me find out a little bit of information. Coach, you need to come see him. Once you got eyes or put video in front of him, okay, yeah, I could see it, I understand what you see. Once you guys are good with that, then Fred may get involved, or the coach continues that process and digs deeper. But there's a touch point. There's some initial stages that go on first before you really start to get into the weeds on what the person is really about.
Gotcha. So that's a look at some Nebraska basketball recruiting. Looking national again, Strick. UConn wins the national championship last night. They win it by double digits. They win every game in the tournament by double digits. Does that make them a blue blood? Were they already a blue blood?
So it's debatable, and some are saying, some believe, some pundits believe that this would solidify them in blue blood status now. What's this? This is their second in what?
They won it in 11, 14, and now this year.
Yeah. So in 10 years, they some people believe that. The question is how do you label a blue blood? That's going to come down to the question. Is it history? Is it tradition? Is it championships? Is it, appearances? Is it deep runs? What is it? What is the criteria that would do that? Right now, when we look at it, North Carolina was preseason number 1, definitely a blue blood program. Duke was number 4. Then you had Kentucky was number 4. Duke was number 7, and Villanova was number 16. Those are the so
Kansas, UCLA.
They weren't. They were, but I'm saying this is what the ranks were for these.
Gotcha.
But it's this year it was like Alabama got there, been there, dropped one. Purdue, they're not blue blood programs, so they kind of were just doing a circle up there. But North Carolina fell off the wagon. Kentucky dropped to the mediocre mid-tier. Duke still trying to figure out after the loss of one of the greatest coaches of all time in Coach K. And Villanova, Jay Wright was a tremendous coach. They're still trying to figure it out. It's tough when you lose a good coach because the recruiting changes. Yes, they believe in Jay Wright, but I don't know you.
Right.
That's what you have to overcome when you're in a blue blood program. That was the one thing Shaka Smart had to deal with. Shaka Smart got outside of his flow, his plane, got down in the big state of Texas. Everything's big in Texas. That's what they say. And got his tail handed to him a little bit. So
ran back home to Marquette.
Worked
out very well for him so far.
Worked out. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like I still could not see Greg McDermott leaving. I think, to me, Greg McDermott is the blueprint that I talked about on a coach that just gets into a program, solidifies it to another level, and you can stay there until you're ready to walk out the door on your own.
Sure.
Him making this run is just another ring that extends him probably another 10 years. I mean, that's just how it is. I'm hoping Fred can get something started and rejuvenated and revamped, restarted, whatever you want to say. But shout out to Hurley. He's got a family coaching history.
That's a blue blood family.
That's a family.
Right,
That's a family. I mean, they've been doing it from high school and obviously Seton Hall and yeah. But I'm proud that he's able to get it done. And the parity, though, is just one of the things that's going to be something to watch. Is this a new trend? Sauter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Is this a new trend? Are we going to see more tournaments like this in the future?
Let's get into that in just a sec. I have this to say about UConn as a blue blood.
Break it.
As a fan of a blue blood program in Duke,
Yeah.
You're not arguing that. They're there.
Yeah.
They're cemented. And I'm not just going to say this as an elitist, snob my nose up at anyone else. Because on the text line, someone says, 5 titles since 1999 for UConn with 3 different head coaches. They're definitely a blue blood. I understand that argument. 5 titles in that span is the most of anyone. Duke and Carolina each have 3 since then. That's a definite bullet point in favor of them. They've been to a lot of NCAA tournaments. They've racked up a lot of wins. Jim Calhoun, underrated coach, really good. In the years that UConn didn't win a national championship, so the 20 years from their first one in 2004 to this year, from those 20 years, Strick, they missed the tournament 9 out of 20 times. They missed the tournament 9 years out of 20. That doesn't happen to the blue blood. Coaching turnover, conference change, I don't care. If you're a blue blood, you make the tournament. Guess who didn't miss the tournament in that stretch? Kansas didn't. Duke didn't. Carolina didn't, outside of the COVID year, of course. Kentucky had an embarrassing NIT appearance, made up for it with a national championship.
Is Indiana?
Indiana has the cachet. They're not a blue blood of my generation, but long-term probably.
I mean,
UConn has an argument with 5 national championships. That has to be taken into account. But you don't miss the tournament that frequently.
Yeah.
The standard's got to be high to be a blue blood.
I like it. What you think? Sutter Heyman text line. I mean, does the standard need to be high? 402-464-5685. I'm still at a loss for just looking at blue blood programs and trying to figure out what the criteria is. That's where I'm just kind of stumped. I'm just like, well, how do you get there? There's so many ways. There's so many metrics that you can do that.
I feel like you know it when you see it. Because if you're going to set a statistical standard for what a blue blood is, you're going to leave some good programs off. You're going to bring some questionable programs in. If you set a statistical benchmark for making the Hall of Fame, you get 2,200 hits, you bat 270 for your career, you're a Hall of Famer. No, you're going to get some not Hall of Fame players in there.
So then why isn't UNLV a blue blood?
UNLV had 1 run.
That's why they're called the Running Rebels?
I guess, yeah.
Just that Larry Johnson crew, basically.
Essentially, yes.
So then why is it Arizona?
Arizona is close, but not a lot of national championships to show for it.
Okay.
You can be a really good program, and I'm not saying that Arizona's not. Fantastic program. Have a lot of basketball success. A basketball school, not on Kentucky's level.
Is that an eye test thing?
I think to some degree it has to be. Because when you say Arizona, you think, oh, that's a really good basketball program. But they don't come to mind first.
Right.
Someone tells you to name a college basketball program. If they're not in your first 5, maybe 6 programs that you list, to me, they're not a blue blood.
Okay. Louisville, then, no.
No. Again, really good program. Close. Basketball school, not a blue blood.
Okay. I like it, Austin. I like it. Nolan says, come on, man. 5 national championships is so hard to do. Hell yes, they are a blue blood.
UConn is the most opportunistic postseason team of my lifetime. They have maximized their appearances. It's incredible what they've done. UConn, I think, needs the reputation that Tom Izzo and Jim Boeheim have. Oh, they do more with less. They get to March, they're dangerous. UConn gets to March, it's a dangerous team. The men's program has never lost in the Final Four of the national championship game.
What did you say their record was? You mentioned that on the break. Break that down.
The UConn men are 5.
Listen to this, listeners. Blockheads, this is crazy. This number for both the men's and the women's program at UConn is crazy. Go ahead.
The UConn men are 5-0 in national championship games. The UConn women are 11-1 in national championship games. 17 national championship appearances for UConn as a school. Only 1 loss. That's incredible.
That's absolutely sick. Basically, if you're UConn, just get there, baby. Do whatever you got to do to get there. If you just get there, you are looking at great percentages of winning that thing.
So I'll kind of phrase it this way too. As a Royals fan, what the Royals did in 2014, 2015 was fun. They made it to a World Series. They won a World Series. They made it to the 1980 World Series. They won the 85 World Series. They weren't in the postseason outside of that in the 2000s. The Royals aren't blue blood, even though they have more World Series championships, since 2010 than the Yankees do.
When did the freaking Boston Red Sox break through? Because they've been cursed forever.
Mm-hmm.
When did they break through? Are they that type of program now?
I think they're back up there. They spread them out enough, and we're in the postseason enough. But again, Boston has that historical cachet. But think about how bad some of those teams were. It should never get that bad.
New England was horrible.
Yeah, but now they're the bluest of blue bloods in the NFL.
Yeah, outside of Boston Celtics, I used to remember them wearing the bags with the tears on their face. That was just a sad time. Remember you had the little Patriot dude with the like he was the center trying to hide it. That was the ugliest uniforms in history, I think, of football. Outside of the Cleveland Browns, some of their stuff is doo-doo brown. I mean, well, no pun intended.
Right.
But that is crazy when I think about how ugly some of these uniforms. Sutter Heyman text line, talk to your boy Strick right now, 402-4645. Who had the ugliest football uniforms in your mind of all time? Who had the ugliest basketball uniforms of all time in your mind? And who has the ugliest? I want to know. Talk to your boy, 402-464-5685. I really want to know because I can't put it all together in my head. That just popped up, but I want to know some more.
Okay. Nolan on the text line says, think about it like this. Nebraska has never won a single game in the Big Dance. UConn has had 5 national championships. What does that have to do with this conversation? We're not comparing UConn to Nebraska.
Not at all.
We're comparing UConn to Kentucky, UConn to Duke, UConn to Kansas, UConn to UCLA. That's the conversation. It's a different conversation.
I don't know where Nebraska came into that, to be honest.
Mississippi Mud Dog says, is Nebraska football a blue blood? You want to hear me say it? I don't know. I'm too close to the situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Of course I would tell you Nebraska football is a blue blood because I'm a Nebraska fan.
I would say you looking at the history, but man, it's just been it's been ugly for quite a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma is. Mm-hmm. they've kept the moxie, you know what I mean? But see, is Texas. See, you got to put Texas in the same category as Nebraska. And I think personally, Nebraska's had more success than Texas. Overall.
Historically, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, but
By
Texas
far.
is considered that.
Up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is, to me, crazy.
Mm-hmm. Dirty Tony says, KC is a blue blood simply because of the impact they had in the Negro League and MLB. There's no question KC has blood throughout all of baseball as we know it now. Again, different conversation. We're talking about the Royals. Trust me, I know the Kansas City baseball history. That Negro League museum, eye-opening. Mm-hmm. Incredible. Kansas City, the town, absolutely baseball royalty. The Royals themselves, absolutely not. Again, think about the teams we're actually trying to compare. Think about what the standard is for those teams.
I need some ugly uniforms. Who else has some ugly uniforms?
80s Bucks and 80s Nuggets.
The 80s Bucks
the creamsicle
were horrible. Yes. The super reindeer looking ones. Oh, those were horrible. Great call. Who was that?
Eric,
yes. Nuggets too. Yes. Bucks. Okay, tell me. So I remember the new ones I remember when they shifted. But what did the old ones look like? The old Buccaneers. What did they? They had they had the thing in the mouth. They had the guy with the knife in the mouth, like a pirate. Yeah. Oh yeah, those are terrible, horrible. They was ugly and ugly. Yeah, those are terrible uniforms. Great call, Eric. You went in on that one. Good call.
Husker 52 says Wyoming, disgusting with the brown and the yellow.
Oh, that is too. It looks like I came out of the brass rail on a bad night and just on the sidewalk with them uniforms. Yeah, that was horrible.
The Pirates.
Ooh.
Like the old
pirate with the big P with the stripe. Ooh.
Yeah, pinstripe hat.
That's word. Ooh, yeah, I remember those. But that was when Willie Stargell and them played. I remember those. Yeah, those were terrible.
Yep. We're getting some comments for alternates, and I think there's so many bad alternates, but I think we're asking more like every day. like standard uniforms, right? Because there are so many bad alternates we go on.
Oh yeah, the alternates. Yeah, the alternates. Some of the alternates are horrible. But yeah, the steel. I always thought the Steelers were kind of cool.
This person said the Steelers alternates.
Oh, the alternates. Yeah, no alternates for me. Padres were horrible.
I don't like the brown and yellow.
That brown and yellow just does not mesh for me. What about those real bold colored Philly uniforms back in the day?
The powder blue ones? Yeah, not sure.
Yeah. You guys are killing it. You're talking about the Supersonics, unnamed texture 2420. You're talking about the Supersonics with the Sky Needle, and they were just the green and yellow. Terrible. Yeah.
Let's ask Sip some of his least favorite uniforms. We'll step aside. We'll get Steve Sipple's thoughts on worst uniforms and Husker football after this.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and I'm protecting it now by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Get up to date while it's still free and stay protected. Learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Guys, it's really happening. A live morning remote. Join Early Break and The Drive from 6 to 10 a.m. on Thursday and Friday at Double Eagle Golf on West Hill for the first 2 days of the Masters. Bloody Marys, simulator golf, and the Masters. What's better than that? Double Eagle Golf in the Connect Sports Complex on West Hill Street.
Spring is in the air. Everyone knows this is the best time of the year to buy and sell a home. Johanna Rhodes with RE/MAX Concepts Real Estate is your go-to agent for help with one of life's big decisions. Come see Johanna at the Lincoln Earth Day celebration Saturday, April 15th at UNL's Innovation Campus. Green vehicles, local foods, live music, and family-friendly activities from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Learn more at lincolnearthday.org.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $10 off any athletic shoes $105 and under, and get $15 off any shoe over $105. Choose from respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, On, and 361 Running. And don't forget the trendy Hey Dudes. A new shipment just arrived for the season. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln. There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-clean protein powder for anyone wanting to look better, feel better, or perform better. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Guys, when I first started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Farrell's 10-Week Challenge. 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and guided nutrition coaching to help you reach your fitness goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins on April 8th. If you're wanting to change your life like I have, head to theticketfm.com and click on Enroll Now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Mike Shaver here to tell you that Trek CBD has a new name, and it's Hemp Boss. It's the same products you've grown to love, just a new name. Spring sports are on the horizon, and Hemp Boss has a variety of products that help calm me down during games and on the golf course so I don't go over the top. And they have a variety of options for you to calm you down before, during, and after any event. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Hemp Boss has it all at 84th and Andermatt. Hemp Boss, naturally healthy CBD.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Creighton would have. That's the best part. They would have beat FAU. They would have been in the national title, but they're not. That's too bad. You guys can wallow for them, and I'll just celebrate over here and say it's a great day to be a Nebraska.
I'm
Cornhusker
just
fan.
amazed by that tape. I'm amazed by that.
You can be amazed all you want. It ain't changing. I like nothing you say is going to change my stance on this game.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the block, halfway through hour number 2. Thanks for joining us here, making us a part of your Tuesday Blockheads. We love you. We appreciate you and your interaction with the show. We go now to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Welcome in Steve Sipple of Early Break with Sip and Jake, writing about Nebraska football for On 3. Steve, I did plan to talk some Husker football with you, but you're a radio guy. You know how wrenches get thrown in those plans. You adjust on the fly sometimes. Let's start with this one. Some of the ugliest uniforms in sports that you can remember. Go.
Oh, don't do this to me on the fly. What uniforms? I don't know. It's subjective. So you're just asking me what uniforms I dislike, right?
Correct. Yeah.
God.
Like for me,
it
was.
Strick's gonna kill me for this. Strick's gonna kill me.
Uh-oh.
I didn't like the Pacers pinstripe.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I still got that jersey.
So, I don't know why. Maybe I thought of that because of Strick. I mean, I just didn't. I thought those. I never liked those. There's not
the old Mavericks, the ones with the cowboy hats. What do you think about those?
I can barely remember them. Great, though. I can't. I guess when you ask the question, Austin, I think of a lot of uniforms I like. There's a lot of, I've always liked the Bullets configurations now and going way back. I'm a guy that is traditionalist, so I like Celtics, Yankees, those sorts of uniforms. I'm not hard to please, and I'm not too discerning. There's not, like some people would say, like Strick would remember the White Sox uniforms when they were wearing short pants. And I thought, I actually kind of liked them. I thought it was kind of novel. It was weird. It was in my day, Austin. You wouldn't remember it. Eric would. But I thought they would wear short pants and these weird collared shirts, Austin. Like they would wear collars.
I've seen the pictures at least.
Yeah, I thought they were kind of neat in their own novel way. I want to think of a uniform. I got one. I intensely dislike teal. Like I don't usually, if there's a teal uniform like the Charlotte Hornets, I don't like it at all. I don't think it looks like a championship outfit to me. I'll say the Charlotte Hornets teal, that when they're wearing teal, I think it looks terrible.
Okay, I'm glad you said you know it when you see it. It doesn't look like a championship contender. That's the next place that we got distracted by the text line. I said UConn's not a blue blood, even though they get their 5th national championship last night.
What are you talking about? Why would you say that, Austin?
Because they're new to the block. I mean, since 98, 99, they've been incredible. They've been fantastic. The most opportunistic men's postseason team in my lifetime, absolutely. But they didn't make a Final Four till Jim Calhoun got there, barely made the Elite 8 even. So the last 30 years, absolutely. But UConn to me is more a new blood than they are a blue blood.
Okay, that's not a bad take, Austin, but weren't they good enough before Calhoun? I mean, didn't they do anything before Calhoun?
So I got that pulled up. Before Calhoun, Dom Perno, D. Rowe was the coach. Those guys made one tournament each. Burr Carlson missed it. They had a good stretch under a guy named Hugh Greer, but again, no national championships to show for it. And even this, Steve, the years they weren't in the national championship game, which again, 5-0 for the UConn men in national championship games, ultimate winners, but they've missed 9 of the last 20 NCAA tournaments. The Blue Bloods don't do that.
You're pretty convincing right now. New blood. New blood. Did Stricky agree with you?
I said he made a good case. I at first I was thinking, you know what, I think they kind of are crossing over, but he made that case, and I was like, dang, you're right. Even if a team, a blue blood gets in, they normally will come in pretty high, and then even if they get ousted, they're there, right? So
Right.
he made a good case.
He made a good case, and the best part of it is, Austin, you're right in that it's hard to consider a blue blood someone that you'd say goes 30 years deep.
Mm-hmm.
That's not probably long enough. I mean, it's not probably too far from long enough, but I don't know. That's a pretty good point. I before your spiel, I would have said, yeah, they're a blue blood. But you made a good. Thank you, Austin. That's good radio.
Absolutely. I mean, clearly a basketball school, clearly a great basketball program, but the Standard isn't pretty good program. If you want to consider them a blue blood, you're looking back at Kansas, who invented basketball, Kentucky, who's had lots of great coaches, Carolina, who's had a run, Duke, UCLA. That's the Standard, not Louisville, Arizona, Syracuse, good basketball programs. But again, if they're not one of the first 5-6 schools you name when you think of name a college basketball team, that to me is part of the Standard too.
Let's give them new blood.
Yeah.
New blood.
They could be part of that crew.
Yeah, blue blood trying to get to that, a new blood trying to get in that blue blood neighborhood, but the blue bloods are not all that welcoming right now.
Sip, I want to address something that was put on the YouTube stream by Josh Nielsen. He says, does that mean that Nebraska football, because we were going back and forth on, some football and different things as well. He says, does that mean that Nebraska football is no longer a blue blood since we don't have a conference championship since 99?
No, Nebraska's still blue blood. No, they're blue blood. It's harder, I think, to lose blue blood status. It's hard to lose blue blood status. Once you're a blue blood, it takes a long time to lose it. That's what I would say. I don't think I need to go any further. I think it's hard to lose your blue blood status.
Deservedly hard to earn, deservedly hard to lose. Again, you know it when you see it, when you've been there, you've done that. Talking to Steve Sipple here of Early Break with Sip and Jake, you hear right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Let's turn our focus from the history to this year's team. EJ Barthel, Ed Foley, the specialists talking after practice today. I want to start with the special teams aspect of it. Improvement from Nebraska special teams last year from the 2 years before that. How does Nebraska keep that improvement going in that third phase this year?
Starts with the punter. I mean, the punter, you have stability there. I'm not saying he has to improve. He can improve. We're talking about Brian Buschini, and he averaged 44 yards a punt last year, which was 25th nationally. I mean, if I just start there because you take for granted Buschini and that stability, then go from there. Pretty good at kicker with Bleak Road, Timmy, who was 9 for 12 on field goals, didn't kick many, and they didn't kick long field goals. And he was 34 of 35 on extra points. That's good, solid. They didn't have. How do you improve? Okay, I'll just get to your question instead of going through all the stats. Return game is where you can improve. You definitely can improve kickoff return, and you can improve punt return. They averaged a big number, but they didn't have many returns. So, I mean, Bill Busch did an excellent job with special teams before he took over the defense, but it can get better. I mean, they could take another step. But I do think it starts with Buschini being Buschini, and having that reliability there. That's your bell cow. That's your star. You don't want your star to drop off. And I don't think he will. Buschini's having a good spring. Now, it might also involve Christian Albano, the West Side kicker, who will come in. Christian Albano, from Omaha West Side, record-breaking kicker at Omaha West Side, will come in and challenge Bleak Road. I would it would be good if he did because they need competition. Buschini's not getting pushed. And I hate to say that. He's just not. But that's Ed Foley said that today. They have a backup punter named Jacob Hole, who's a Lincoln Southwest graduate and a former Wesleyan player, he can uncork a punt, but he's not on Buschini's level. The way Foley put it is Buschini's working toward getting in the NFL, and Jacob Hole is working towards getting on a college football field. So there you have it. But that was a good operation. Their long snapper holder operation was strong. They didn't have problems with the long snapper on punts. So I don't know. Just keep the consistency in those areas and get more pop out of the return game is what I'd say.
Billy Kemp working at punt return. Are there any other candidates for that? Will Billy Kemp also return kicks? Who are some of those candidates?
Oh, I didn't see. I was watching those. I was watching those units today, and I didn't see Kemp returning kickoffs. He might have been in a lower unit, but he's definitely He's definitely probably. He's one of the leading guys in the punt returner category. Isaiah. Well, let's start at kickoff return. I think today, if they played tomorrow, it looked to me like you'd see Grant out there, Anthony as a kickoff return man, and Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. Now there's other guys working back there. Ramir was working back there. Now, notable by his absence as a kickoff return man was Tommy Hill. He's not working back there. He's working on special teams, but not in a return man role. So I'd say Grant and Garcia Castaneda are lead kickoff return candidates. Billy Kemp is a definite lead punt return candidate. I'd say Xavier Betts is in the return man conversation. Betts was prominent today. Elliott Brown was prominent today. Oh, I'm trying to think who else I saw back there. Those are the main. Those are the main guys. I'm probably missing one, but that's about all of them.
You mentioned Grant and Garcia Castaneda. Grant, especially, we know the role he played for Nebraska's offense last year. Garcia Castaneda, up and down, had a good game against Northwestern before ultimately transferring. Do you think they're back there because the coaches like what else they have in that room and they want to find ways to get those guys on the field?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's because they're their best returners. I think it could be more about that than anything. Now, Garcia Castaneda didn't end up transferring. He went into the portal, but then decided to come back. He looks slimmer. A lot of the guys do, actually. But yeah, I think you're just trying. Hey, come on! You're just trying to find the best guy. And there's not. I don't know that there's too many people you'd rule out. That you'd keep off the team because you're worried about them getting hurt or whatever. You're just going with your best guys. Billy Kemp's back there. Billy Kemp is. Right now, if I were to bet, I'd bet he's going to lead them in receptions, and he'll probably be their punt returner. Remember, he's the only player in Virginia program history to start 4 straight years as a punt return man. So Billy Kemp would be the odds-on favorite to do it here.
The other big news out of Nebraska football this week is Frank Solich making his return for the spring game. Just what does that mean for the program and for the state to have Frank Solich back?
Well, I think it means a lot of different things. What you hear a lot about, I think there's validity to it is, the healing part of it. I don't know. I think there's people that feel guilty that he was ran out of town with a 58-19 record. And, there's still people that are pretty unapologetic about it. They said, look, he was 58-19, but he followed 60-3. He followed 3 national championships in 4 years, and it was all set up for him. And he threw a 7-7 out there. I don't know. I never thought he should be fired. I was in that camp. I did not think he should be fired. But whatever, it's all water under the bridge. I think I think a lot of it's just honoring a good man. I mean, someone who is a great player. You're a great player. You know, first running back with 200 yards at Nebraska, all Big 8 player for Bob Devaney, then became a premier running backs coach. I mean, he was, you know, what Milt Tenniper was the offensive line coaching, Frank was the running back coaching, and had a long run. It was a great recruiter and did so much for the program as a running backs coach, and then was handpicked to succeed Osborne. So, it's a healing. I think a lot of it is healing, but some of it's just honoring a good man, and B, someone who's meant so much to the program.
Last thing before we let you go here, Steve, 2.5 weeks, give or take, between now and the Nebraska spring game. What are you monitoring from Nebraska spring practice? What do you have your eye on to, or your ear on to see and hear over the next couple weeks?
Well, a lot. I mean, of course you wonder about the quarterback position. With Casey out, Casey Thompson not practicing. You know, he's in a yellow jersey, so he's out there, but he's not throwing. We're very limited. I mean, he was throwing a couple last week. He threw a little bit. But what's Jeff Sims look like? And come on, I mean, this is an intense. I would characterize this as a very intense time for someone like Heinrich Harburg. This is his chance now. You know, Saturday was a big opportunity for him in the scrimmage to make a move. I don't know what that looked like. I would have loved to see it. I didn't see it. So guys like Heinrich Harburg, this is big for. There's a lot of guys who have already made a big impression on this staff that have clearly benefited from a new staff. Gabe Ervin, for sure. Yeah, Gabe Ervin's one of those guys. I'd say the entire offensive line is kind of that. They have kind of a new life with this staff. Rule has on a few occasions spoke and said that wasn't the problem. The offensive line is going to be fine. It was fine, and it's going to be fine. I'd say that group, and you know, Donnie Raiola included, has kind of new life. I'm trying to think of someone else you put in that kind of category of new life. That I don't know, but that's kind of what I have my eye on. There's players that need to step up big time in the absence of Mathis and Garrett Nelson. Now who's the other guy that they lost?
Tanner.
Yeah, thank you. Caleb Tanner, who was at practice today. Yeah, there's guys like Jamari Butler and Blaze Gunnerson. It's time. See, Eric knows. Eric played, and he understands that sometimes for an athlete, it's just time now. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then you know, it may never. And there's some guys like that over there right now. It's got to happen for them, and it's got to happen for them individually, and it's got to happen for the team. You know, if they're going to help the team, and the team's it's going to be a salty defense, there are some guys that need to step up now.
Steve Sipple, early break with Sip and Jake and Coach Bill Bush. Also read his work at Husker Online. Steve, appreciate the insight as always. Keep up the good work, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Anytime. Once again, Steve Sipple, our own Steve Sipple, with us here on the block. We'll step aside, get you set up for old school, cross it over with the crew when we get back.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra clean protein powder ideal for anyone wanting to look better, feel better, or perform better. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Guys, it's really happening. A live morning remote. Join Early Break and The Drive from 6 to 10 a.m. on Thursday and Friday at Double Eagle Golf on West Hill for the first 2 days of the Masters. Bloody Marys, simulator golf, and the Masters. What's better than that? Double Eagle Golf in the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodent, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
It's April, and that means the school year's almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $10 off any athletic shoes $105 and under, and get $15 off any shoe over $105. Choose from respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, On, and 361 Running. And don't forget the trendy Hey Dudes. A new shipment just arrived for the season. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One final time with you here on the block before we get you over to Old School. DP in the building right now. DP, afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, peoples.
Peasy.
Peoples, what's happening?
You giving the people's elbow this weekend?
I'm giving oh man, like the move for the weekend for me is elbow to the jaw.
Yeah,
I think that's how my Miami weekend's gonna go. Is UFC,
one of them John Bones Jones short elbows on the fence.
It's a rematch, right? That when a legitimate puncher, Muay Thai dude, gets his hands on a dude that's loaded with a utility belt, it takes something freakish to get that animal off you. Like you got to get that dude down, hold him down.
Mm-hmm.
But he learned it's a full 5 rounds. You can win for 4.5, and that one timer, that one piece, will change.
What did you think about the? Not Adesanya, but the rematch, the third one.
I thought
who was it again?
Well,
gosh darn, the one from Britain.
Well, Kamaru Usman
and
Edwards. And listen, Carney went into it with a plan. If he had had a solid first round, he's the champ right now. He didn't. Like, he left it up to the judges. And you can't, when you're trying to take it back, you
right.
got to be dominant against a dude who puts you to sleep.
Yeah.
Now, mixed martial arts, it evolves. Just like Usman evolved and was ahead of the people
Yeah.
who he took it from. Like, he evolved and took the title and then ran away with it. Like, he went through everybody. But there was a dude laying in wait while he fought everybody else and fought off the dogs. He was becoming a bigger dog. And that's what got him. Same thing happened with Adesanya, was that Stylebender, the last Stylebender changed mixed martial arts, but all the while there was a dude who figured out these hands are magic.
It just takes one.
It's the eraser. It's the great eraser.
That one hitter quitter.
Yep. Like, okay, like I'm gonna be here. I've got 5 rounds to get you. And they literally told dude, you letting this slip.
Yeah.
Like, they literally said, dude, he's trying to find a way to quit. Whack! Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Go to sleep. So, yeah,
he kept that pressure on him.
Yeah,
on Adesanya.
This is gonna be fun. They're bringing some Hall of Famers. George St. Pierre is going to be down in Miami. There's going to be a whole panel of Hall of Famers. So it's going to be fun.
That's nice.
It's going to be fun.
No greater place to do it than the sun and fun of Miami.
Sun and fun of Miami. Like I said, when I land tomorrow, I'm turning off everything for like 4 hours, and I'm gonna sit on South Beach and just
soak it up.
Like, I'm just Jay. Yeah, I'm just going.
Speaking of Miami, Jay Foreman, everybody.
Like, I'm just going to look, Jay.
you
like
be rubbernecking.
People watching,
just look for 4 hours, and then set up for a week. And of course, the big news yesterday was that UFC and its partners, its management company, purchased the rights to WWE. So it's the combining of two of my worlds in one, and there's some meetings going on down in Miami that will tell how one uses the other, and you fully expect a crossover between those guys like Brock Lesnar who have done both, and the women who have done both will be the bridge to how each of them evolve. Each one takes a little bit of the other and becomes greater. Each one. It's going to be.
That's pretty cool.
It's going to be crazy.
In a different realm of fighting, Spence Crawford. Seems like it's happening. I will fully admit to being a bandwagon Terrence Crawford fan. I don't follow boxing. I don't know what that fight means. I just know Terrence Crawford's from Omaha, so I'm going to root for him. What does the Spence Crawford fight actually mean?
If it happens,
if it happens,
that's the biggest thing in boxing.
It'd be the biggest fight in recent times because they're both in somewhat of their prime versus, when Floyd fought Pacquiao was way past his out. So it's, something that seems like it's been talked about for like 2 or 3 years.
Shoot.
And I think, I think both of them want to fight each other because ultimately when you're going, I'm assuming if you're going to fight somebody of that stature, you're not just fighting them once.
3 times.
2 at least.
2 at least if you're dominant.
Well, yeah, 2 at least. And so I think them two know first of all, it's going to be huge.
It's a career. It's a career. Yeah.
It's 50-50 right down the middle.
So that was what I think the original holdup was because they weren't opening the books to talk about what a split really looked like, and so somebody wasn't getting all the information in.
So
there.
I think the two boxers want to actually want to fight. I think now you got to get the management teams there, and then I mean, if they really want to do it, they're going to do it. I just would hate to go to be 2024.
Yeah, another year down the road.
Right. Then it's just then you start to lose credibility because there's going to be other fights. So we'll see what happens. I mean,
let's pause for Eddie back in a sec.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
That's what we left off with Steve Sipplebed. He says sometimes as an athlete, it's just time. Whether that's to make a move up the depth chart, to make something big happen. It's time for that. Just make it happen.
That's
why not?
A minimum of $60 million on the table.
More than that.
Well,
I mean,
as a minimum, right?
Yeah, that's just the starting point to get me to even get it to pick up the cell phone. You know, I think the bad thing about boxing, and then when you look at just say UFC, right? This is like boxing is like one of the ultimate American sports. I mean, they've been doing it for centuries, right? So when you think about it, why is boxing lost its luster, and why is UFC taking off? Now, granted, UFC is you could go to Hy-Vee and you could possibly run into a UFC fighter because you don't necessarily need to go to the Olympics like when we grew up watching it. So there's more people like, I mean, you got stuff at PBA where you can have, you know, you can have if you're a local MMA fighter, that could be a nice little living, right? DP's got extended family that's, you know, fought that we've done it. But when you look at how it's really exploded, and Dana White and all those guys have done a really good job. But here's what they did. They saw the ultimate weakness in boxing, which was one, arrogance, because they didn't realize who they were, and they thought they were a lot more stable in the pecking order than they were. And then number two, their inability or part of their arrogance of not getting the fighters to fight
each other.
Perfect example, having Floyd fight Canelo way too early in Canelo's career, and then have him fight Pacquiao way too late in his career, right? Even before that, the Sweet Pea Whitaker kind of just handing him Floyd the championship. Now, if you think Floyd won all that, but that's subjective.
Yeah, they say some corruption,
right?
Some corruption in that
and
stuff.
then it started to be magnified, right? And then some of the big fights end up being duds.
Yeah,
and then no American fighters, heavyweights in particular. Here comes UFC. Kind of was just a throw off. It seemed like at 2 a.m. you'd see like the Gracies. But guess what they did?
With scratchy TV looking too.
It was terrible.
It was horrible.
Right. But what they did was Dana White said, you know what? We're going to do the exact opposite of boxing. If you're going to be you can still be one of the greatest of all time and have L's on your record. You get what I'm saying? So what is George St. Pierre, the DP was talking about? But they always fought the number one or number two contender. Then if you happen to lose and then add some tools to your toolbox,
run it back,
and you come back up there. So now if you have a fan following, it's more legit. And it's just taken off. And so now that's when you think of like Crawford and Spence, that's where they're at. Now you got two fighters that actually want to fight. Okay with the money split, probably them talking. And here we are, at least 2 years since it's first been on the
minimum 2,
right?
Yeah,
and that's not even counting the other challengers
Yeah.
that might want to get after the second or third trilogy. So you're keep pushing yourself back, and then with this merger of WWE,
and because you don't want to take another fight and risk the money,
losing or get busted up some.
Right.
It's really now, and
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, well, we're gonna fight in 2000. They say, okay, we'll fight February 2024. Well, now you're gonna be inactive. Now I'm not gonna be able to put on my best show. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that
Ring
these
rust.
guys' careers and legacies
And
are.
fighters, especially at that level, fighters don't age because of fights. They age because of the training.
Right.
They age because of the sacrifice.
Right.
And they know there's only 3 or 4 camps left in me.
Like
it's-
real deal camp.
Like I can't go through
right
carrying this grown man weight or
Yeah.
grown woman weight into 3 more camps.
Mhm.
It's just not possible. It's
That's
just
why
too
they like
much.
those, kind of fluff ones in
Mhm,
between.
mhm.
But there's always the risk now. 'Cause
Yeah.
Everybody's going to come
Somebody
in, you
getting
might
clipped.
Well, the come up is happening for everybody. Mixed martial arts, because you have so many different things that you can get good at.
There is no days off.
Right, that you can get good. Like if you're a wrestler, you can get better with the hands. If you're a boxer, you can get better with
wrestling.
jujitsu, or and then somebody from another art is tracking you to figure out, I'm really good with my hands. If you're a wrestler, I'm gonna figure out how to stop you from taking me down,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna find a way to get these hands on you. And that's the difference. Boxing, the art is very finite.
Yeah.
Mixed martial arts has done a really good job of expanding it. But
There's so much you got to defend.
It's just
it's like you can't.
I mean, you could dominate the whole 4
And
rounds,
still
5
get clipped.
rounds, and then he gets you in.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I saw somebody put somebody in the Boston Crab the other day.
That's a beautiful.
He put him in the he literally put him in the old school Iron Sheik move, the Boston Crab or whatever.
in a mixed martial arts fight.
And he tapped out.
Like dude tapped out. He walked him over.
Put him in the Boston Crab. And
That's
you
hilarious.
could be winning the whole fight, and you
And,
just
and would be 4 seconds left, and you
didn't
sleep.
yeah.
Well, but this is in case folks. I mean, that in both boxing and UFC, this is the transitional phase. This is the time where the next generation's come up happens, and Bud has the opportunity. Finish on your own terms. Beat this dude twice, and then if you decide you're done at $120 million, then you can walk away and go, I'm cool.
For these leagues, which is more important, to maximize the time they have with their big stars in the spotlight or to manage these transition times to get to the next stars?
UFC's done better about riding until the wheels fall off. Like you see UFC fighters fight till they leave their gloves in the middle of the octagon. And it's never at the bottom of the card. It's at the top where they just go, I'm gonna fight one time for this world championship, and if I don't pull off, if I don't catch lightning in a bottle one more time, I'm gonna leave these gloves here and go rest, man. I need my brain, like I need my body to work so I can raise my kids and be a partner. So yeah, they do a really good. Although you got to say that WWE, they do a really good job.
Yeah.
I mean, Flair's still collecting checks, right? like John Cena. John Cena just let off WrestleMania.
He just had the best week of his life.
Like Cena just had, he just had the comeback, right?
You know,
right? He just had the comeback. So other sports, if they figured out how to make ambassadors.
Yeah, and that's what UFC does, though.
Right?
The UFC does that,
Yeah,
and
better than
WWF
anybody.
does. But UFC is different because, like the Diaz brothers, right? They're not at the top of their they're not at the top of their weight class or their division.
Yeah.
But guess what they're known for? Exciting fights.
Yeah.
They're okay with going in there and taking punches.
Yeah.
They're going to give punches. So Dana White knows that's going to put butts in the stands. That's going to get people to pay pay-per-view.
Yeah, they got followers.
Well,
They got followers.
Bellator is the kind of the offshoot,
The sister
right?
of it.
The secondary. So when you're no longer fighting for the UFC title, it doesn't mean you're not one of the top 5 fighters in your weight class. So you go over to Bellator, where Cyborg's over there getting paid, right? Money. They've got fighters over there who used to be in the UFC headliners, and they pack out Bellator gyms. They do it so instead of getting $500,000 to headline, they get $250,000 to headline, and they're cool. The Bellator is fire. That's why I keep
parachute package.
I want to see what happens with USFL and the XFL, because one of them
is going to win out.
Is going to decide they're going to be the
system.
place where veteran players go with star power,
names and stuff.
And can still play good enough to get people to fork out $20.
Isn't that what your
ticket.
boy Zeke doing?
Well, we don't know what Zeke's gonna be in the league.
Who you talking about?
I'm just saying. I'm
Elliott?
just saying.
No.
Is that something that Zeke might be thinking of?
No, but they're
similar to what your boy did,
with their
Herschel
guys,
Walker, when he went
he went to Jersey and then came back in the league. There are ways for football to use its senior players as ambassadors. They haven't figured it out yet. Somebody will. That's who I want to ride with.
There you go. That's DP and J. Coming up next on Old School. That's it for Stricken Night today. We'll be back with you tomorrow, 2 to 4 Central. And Kenny tapping in at some point during Old School.
He'll be in at 5 from 5 to 6.
There you go. We got the terrific trio in on Old School. Stay tuned right here, 93.7 The Ticket. Stricken, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-clean protein powder ideal for anyone wanting to look better, feel better, or perform better. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and I'm protecting it now by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine.